Welcome to Sudbury Sports Unbiased, your source for no-spin coverage on the Sudbury Wolves, Sudbury Five, Sudbury Cyclones, and Sudbury Cups with Rick and Craig. Hello, sports fans. Craig here, and the man is back. Giuseppe Politi is joining us again for this show, and we're very happy to have Giuseppe with us. Giuseppe, welcome back.
Great to be back.
So we're going to start with our usual routine when you come on, and tonight the Cyclones have a big game at home, and you're going to be playing Unionville Milliken. Unionville Milliken, a middle-of-the-table team, the team that was promoted with you last season. Is there a good chance the Cyclones could get a result tonight?
I hope so. I mean, last Unionville's kind of interesting. I mean, they came up with us last year. They won the title on the tiebreaker. We've played 2 times last year and 1 time this year, and we've drawn every single match. So it's always going to be a battle. I think they're a quality side, one of the sides that is impressive. They're dangerous going forward. But I think if we can minimize errors and capitalize on chances, especially being in our home field and the opponent being inconvenienced with the travel, it's not easy on a Friday, so on and so forth, that we can put some points up on the table.
And hopefully a great crowd tonight to cheer the boys on.
I hope so. I hope the weather holds off. It's sort of weird. The weatherman's predicting just about everything. So we're hoping to get some support because we certainly need that 12th man pursuit.
We've had a very strange weather week. It looks like it might thunder, it might lightning. But we've had hot and humid weather, and today again is no exception. Who needs to step up for the Cyclones tonight if you're going to get a result, Giuseppe?
I don't know if it's one individual player. It's more, as a collective, if we're generating a chance, whoever gets that chance has to convert. We've just been on the wrong end of conversion. Like, we're just so close. So if we have an opportunity to score, whoever it is, whether it's a defender on a set piece or a striker on a breakaway or a midfielder in the attacking, whatever the case is, we need to convert. And second, we got to avoid the basic mistakes, not turning the ball over in dangerous areas, making sure we're marking people if they're in wide areas as they serve the ball in. So I don't know if it's anyone specific, but it's just got to be kept simple and be opportunistic.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Cyclones be more adventuresome in midfield. I'd like to see our team dominate the midfield. That's something we did frequently last year, and I think that teams have been scouting us, so hopefully we can get some good breaks out of midfield, and maybe that will generate some attack for us.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a collective effort. Everybody's got to stick to the plan, focus on their 2 to 3 main responsibilities, whether we have the ball in attack or defensively or moments in transition, and stay tuned in at all times. At this level, even if you look at the last game, yeah, their second goal was a nice through ball. It's just we switched off for that split second, and it costed us a point because I think last week we should have at least drawn against Oakville, and we fell 2-1. So hopefully today, it would be nice to take a lead rather than have to chase the game, and we'll see how it goes.
And 3 points would be huge because that would put you right back in the fight and take you away from that dangerous relegation zone a lot more.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, we had a team meeting about a week and a half ago, and it's quite clear that the number one objective is to stay in OPL 1. I truly believe these guys, this team, this city, this project, the whole initiative deserves to be in OPL 1. We're competitive in every match. It's a lot different if you're losing by 5 or 6 goals week in and week out. There's no community engagement, but I think we have all the ingredients here. It's just we just gotta get the final product. So let's hope we can start a little run tonight.
Maybe what we need is Lady Luck to show up tonight. That would be, I think, a big factor as well.
To be honest, it depends what coach you ask. Coaches might say you create your own luck, but we have certainly been on the wrong end of things this season, especially compared to last. So, we should be a little bit higher in the rankings given our ability and performances. And let's hope we catch a bounce.
Well, I wish you luck tonight, and I'll be watching. I'll be watching from home, and can't wait to see the game. Hopefully it's on the link and I can watch on my phone because that's generally how I watch, and I'll be looking forward to it.
Appreciate the support.
Yeah, no problem at all. So we have the round of 16 just around the corner. We've had some very interesting matches in the round of 32, and we're going to preview the 8 round of 16 matchups. And guess what? Who's first? Canada. Canada versus Morocco tomorrow, 1 p.m. Houston indoors. And Morocco is the heavy favorite here. So I'm going to ask you a basic question right off the top. How does Canada win this game?
Canada is going to need to be careful. Morocco can be dangerous. And to be honest, my heart wants Canada. Anybody that looks at the stats on a world ranking like this, for a lot of people, as a third point of view with no investment in the game, Morocco is going to be chosen by 9 out of 10 people. So Canada is similar to Cyclones that I mentioned, is going to need to be opportunistic. Like Jonathan David, if he gets a chance, because I don't think he will get the volume of chances in this game, he's going to need to convert, or Kyle Laren, or whatever player is going to be in those moments getting a chance, they're going to need to convert. I don't think Canada is going to have 10 chances. They might only have 3 or 4, and they better bury it when they have that chance. And really, Canada cannot be making mistakes at the back, cannot be getting caught out. It has to be a simple game. To be honest, I'm most interested to see Jesse's approach. If he's going to try to go on the front foot, or maybe sit back, or maybe alternate. Some people think in soccer that you have to play the same style for the entire half or both halves. You don't. You can press for 15, you can sit for 15, you can change things. Maybe even at the water break, so on and so forth. I'm kind of interested to see how they go about doing this, because Morocco's an interesting opponent, but anything is possible. As it's a one game type thing, and look at some of the other results. So you have some big teams that were supposed to win, quote unquote, and the underdog pulled through. So let's go Canada.
Yeah, Germany and the Netherlands are home, and their supposedly inferior opponents are cruising on to the round of 16.
Exactly.
So yeah, Jesse Marsh did make a tactical adjustment that I noticed. This team is noted as a high pressing team. I noticed against South Africa that South Africa was getting through our high press relatively easily, and Jesse Marsh seemed to back off his press and moved it more towards the middle of the field. Do you think he might do that against Morocco as well, Giuseppe?
Yeah. And to be honest, it could be an in-game adjustment. The safe choice is to play a mid block. Mid block is kind of like you got the advantage of trying to win the ball a little bit further up the pitch and reducing the space in behind. So there's pros, cons to any way you want to do it. Whether it's a high press, which is Jesse's favorite, or a mid block, which is probably the balance, or a low block. You'll see a low block for what South Africa did to South Korea, right? Especially after they scored a goal. You literally sitting back. Even Netherlands played a low block in the second half against Morocco. It was literally, you could see 2 lines of players just sitting back. I'm interested to see. I honestly think that it's going to be a hybrid. It's not going to be like, oh, here it is. And that's it. I think they could change at different moments of the match.
There's been some speculation that Canada might go with an extra midfielder and might take a striker off. Do you think that might happen?
It's very possible. I mean, as a coach over all these years, sometimes you want to break the game up. The one game is looked at in 2 45-minute halves. Sometimes you look at it as 2 games. Get through the first half, keep your team in the game, which is either a draw or only down by 1. And then in the second half, you might want to open up a little bit more to get the result. So, for example, maybe Jesse decides to go in a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-5-1, something along those lines. And then in the second half, go to more back to a 4-4-2. Like I said, there is if everybody had the solution, we wouldn't have any pundits. We wouldn't talk about it. We wouldn't analyze it. So it's not easy. Everyone thinks, Giuseppe, that you have. I don't have all the answers. There's pros, cons to every strategy. And I will say that if Jesse's just got to be careful that he doesn't just go for it, and then all of a sudden we fall behind by 2, and then it gets ugly, and then you don't want that to happen. I would rather Canada play ugly and conservative for the first half that gives us a chance to steal it in the second, if that's what's required. Because to be honest, the result is all that matters at this level. Okay, it's not, you don't get any extra marks for being pretty.
Oil paintings aren't required, Giuseppe, that's for certain. What lineup changes would you consider for Canada in this game? I'm thinking of a couple, and what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, without knowing all of the intricacies of who's fit or who's not carrying a knock and stuff like that, you may want to stay as is compared to the last match. I can't remember the exact starting lineup, but if you refresh my memory, we could probably discuss a few. I mean, let's take
Bombito
yeah.
started the last game.
Exactly. Yeah. I would start with him again, asking, I think, what did they get out of him? 45, 60 minutes, maybe?
They got 60 minutes.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Maybe you can squeeze out another 10 out of him, maybe get him to 70-minute mark. It'll all be something that him and the trainers and everyone will have to assess. I'll tell you one thing that I do know is I'm not starting Alfonso Davies.
No, I don't think that would be a good move. If something happens to Alfonso, God forbid, you're in a very difficult position. The other thought that I had maybe is that Jesse Marsh might consider swapping Liam Miller for Ali Ahmed. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it could provide a little bit of different scenery, maybe a little bit of a change for the opponent to deal with. Another option, I face the same issues here with Cyclones. Is I got two guys per spot in every position. As 22 men plus a couple others that you have to balance. Is you can go with one in one half and see how it goes, and if it's not happening, go with the other in the second half or at the 60th minute. So either option's good. They got to discuss and see what's happening, make sure who's healthy, so on and so forth. But either option's good on the wing. I still think that Liam is preferred. That's just my feeling. But Jesse, I think he's not gonna change a heck of a lot. I don't think.
What about the strikers up top? Do you think that Kyle Larin could get the start in this game?
Yeah, he could. He could. Again, I still think that Jonathan David is going to start. I think he's kind of a secure choice. It's who's going to be his partner. I don't think Promise David will start because I don't think he's got the minutes in his legs and the fitness to last. I think he's a big body you want to bring on later, so he'd be a second half guy. So it's basically between the other two, and I think he's probably going to lean to Kyle Larin, but you never know. You never know. Maybe he might start in a 4-1-4-1, and this whole discussion is useless. We don't know what he's thinking, but it's an interesting approach. I would need to like sit down and look at the exact shape that Morocco plays, if it's a 4-3-3 or whatever it is. But Jesse's got his handful, and a lot of it is going to be mental and belief. Like these Canadian players are going to have to play without exaggeration or hyperbole the game of their life.
Yeah, I think that's not inaccurate. I think that's very accurate. And I think every one of those guys knows that. And I think that you're going to see a lot of those guys do exactly that. I think Canada will give a very good account of themselves. And Morocco certainly isn't taking them lightly. And that's to Canada's credit. I'm going to ask you a couple of more questions before we move on. Alfonso Davies, you mentioned him. When do you bring Alfonso Davies on?
I can't see him coming on before the 60th minute. Yes, he's an amazing player. I just don't think he's totally recovered yet. When I see him on the ball, I see him that he's willing to play the ball and create passes and things like that, but I don't see that willingness to sprint. I think he's hesitant for obvious reasons, that he doesn't want to re-aggravate or hurt his hamstrings. If he's coming on, it's because we need a goal, or it's tied, and he'll either play left midfield, something like that, and it's going to be after the 60th. I don't think he's got more than 30.
Midfield, Stefan Eustáquio had a fantastic game. The game-winning goal last time out against South Africa. I was very impressed with Nico Seeger coming off the bench. Do you think there's any possibility that Nico Seeger starts and that
No,
Eitan Saliba is on the bench?
no, I don't think so. I think Saliba earned his spot. He's stepped in quite admirably for our friend Ishmael Kone, who unfortunately broke his leg. So I think in midfield, it's an easy Eustáquio and what's his name? Was the other one? Eustáquio's going to start, and
Saliba.
Saliba. Yeah, that to me, I don't think they changed that, and should be straightforward. We talked about Liam Miller. We don't know. I mean, I think Tajon Buchanan has logged a lot of minutes. It's possible that they might want to go with somebody else fresh on the right. I mean, when what's his name, the blonde boy that crossed the ball, and what's his last name? Yeah, he came in with a lot of energy. So you never know what Jesse's going to do.
You can see one really, really off the wall substitution here. And I really like this player, Jaden Nelson. Jaden Nelson is a potential difference maker. I have a feeling he might play in this game.
Yeah, it's possible. I think if we see Jaden Nelson, it's because we're down a goal, and it's going to be in the second half. I don't know. I don't think that he's right now in Jesse's plan to start. But like I said, Jesse might be having two game plans. Sometimes I do that too. It's like you have a plan for the first half and you have a plan for the second half, because you have to manage the score line. Like that's coaching at the higher levels. Is you don't just you choose one thing and you start, and you got to be stuck in those players in that style for the whole game. Things can change, and that's a hallmark of a good coach, is being able to change things, adapt.
Correct. So we usually say this in a very, fun way, but our fearless prediction. So Giuseppe, I'm going to go to you first. Who wins and by what score?
I'm going to say Canada 2-1.
Wow. So you're calling an upset.
I'm going to go with my heart as long as I can in this tournament.
Well, guess what? Although I think Morocco should win, I have a funny feeling that Canada is going to take this to extra time, and I'm going to say 2-1 Canada in extra time.
Crazy, yeah. And like you just mentioned, extra time. It is very possible that if Canada, let's say right now, I know I always do what if scenarios, but if somebody said, "Hey, roll the dice and take Morocco to PKs," I think Canada would sign up for that right now.
Well, they would sign
Right.
up for that, Giuseppe, in a heartbeat. Let's go to the other 7 round of 16 games. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., we have Paraguay and France. And I don't know, but I don't see Paraguay as posing much of a challenge here. What are your thoughts?
I mean, on paper, it should be probably the most straightforward of all the round of 16, to be quite honest. Like, I just can't see Paraguay upsetting France. That being said, how could Paraguay do it? They're going to park 2 buses. They're going to need to maybe draw a red card or something wild has to happen. Like if it's just Paraguay against France, like this is going to be 2-0, 3-0, as straightforward, and maybe even Didier Deschamps, who I think is an excellent coach and man manager. He might even be able to take players off and rest them in the second half. I just can't see anything other than a France victory.
I agree with you. Let's move on down the table here. Interesting one, USA and Belgium. Who do you like in that game?
To be honest, I'm going to ride the American wave. I thought Belgium, in fairness, with all due respect to Senegal, I think they blew it badly. It's one thing to concede 1 goal in the last 5 minutes, but to concede both goals and you're up 2-0 in the 86th minute is a little bit crazy. Belgium, I mean, they're okay, but I think the USA has it with one asterisk. The red card to Balogun is an issue because he's been, a nuisance on the field. I still think the home field advantage. I still think that USA can do this, and I think somebody like Pulisic or something like that will step up to the plate.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was looking for the U.S. to win that game. When Balogun got the red, Balogun's been a lot of the U.S. offense, and I'm kind of wondering where the goals are going to come from. But somehow, I think the USA is going to ride that huge home field advantage, and I think the USA probably wins this game 2-1. What do you think?
But even Pochettino for the USA, I don't think it's going to be like, oh God, this is boring and watching paint dry. I think it's going to be open. It's going to be exciting, and I see goals. So a USA win 3-2.
Okay, that sounds realistic and reasonable to me. Next game, the granddaddy of the round of 16, Portugal and Spain. Who do you like in this one, Giuseppe?
I'm a Ronaldo fan. I'm really rooting for him. I think, Spain is probably the overall better team, but I just have this feeling that Portugal's got a little bit of the soccer gods with them. So I'm going to choose Portugal. I could see this going extra time. To me, I think this is probably the marquee matchup of the whole round. This could be a Euro final. It could be a World Cup final with 2 teams of the caliber. I'm going to ride the Ronaldo wave and choose Portugal to knock out the younger Spain.
I'll tell you, Portugal lived a charmed life last night against Croatia. I don't see them living the charmed life against Spain. I think Spain is finally getting it together. I think the Spaniards are better. I'm going to say Spain 3, Portugal 2. That's my prediction for this game. Next one, very interesting game. A game I'm really looking forward to seeing. Brazil and Norway. Does Erling Haaland, to use your words, have another round in him?
I think he does. I think Erling Haaland will probably be the difference. I mean, if he can be opportunistic and score, I don't think he's going to get as many chances as other times, But I think Norway can do it. I'm not convinced on Brazil. It's tough. I mean, I have a little soft spot for Brazil because Ancelotti is an Italian coach there, but Norway. They got that whole underdog thing, and they're in uncharted territory. So I'm going to choose Holland and Norway in an upset.
Yeah, what a great matchup. We have Holland on one side. We have Vinny Jr. on the other side. What a game. I don't know. I just like that Norway team. I like the way they're playing. I'm going to call this an upset as well. I'm going to say Norway 3 and Brazil 2. I think this will be a really exciting game. Probably one you don't want to miss, for sure. Next game, here's a dilly. And it wouldn't be a dilly in a lot of other circumstances. England versus Mexico at the Azteca. Giuseppe, can the Mexicans pull this off?
I think so. And I think I think with all, Mexico being the host and Mexico having this game and like the one place they wanted in the entire world, I think Mexico can do it. If this game was in Europe or somewhere else other than Mexico City in Mexico, I would probably choose England. England has the big factor called Harry Kane.
Yes.
And yeah, Harry Kane literally carried them through the last round because they were 15 minutes from crashing out. I can see, any other day, like 9 out of 10, you probably anyone would choose England, but I still think Mexico has something going on right now, and I could see them riding that whole host wave at least another round.
Yeah, I think that Coach Aguirre really has them playing fantastic all around soccer. Next to France, I would probably say that Mexico has been the most impressive team in this tournament. And I think the home field advantage and the altitude is going to be a huge factor here. And I'm calling a big upset. Mexico 3, England 2, extra time.
I can see it. There's something about the Mexico team and host nation this year. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the stuff online. Like people are just going wild there. So I find that the team will ride that high. I don't know where the next round is, but maybe England will be going home.
And boy, would that be a shock for the English. There would, if they do lose to Mexico, I don't care if it's in Mexico, the next step will be a royal commission. What happened to British soccer, English soccer? So I like Mexico. I think they're going to carry on, and I can't wait to see that game. Two more to look at. The next one is Switzerland versus a to be determined opponent. And the opponent will be either Colombia or Ghana. So I'm going to say that Colombia should win that game, Giuseppe. And presuming that Colombia does win that game, would you favor Colombia or would you favor Switzerland?
I would agree. I think Colombia will get past Ghana, and I think that Colombia will just beat Switzerland kind of 2-1. It'll be close. Switzerland will put up a good fight, but I think Colombia actually, from what I'm looking at this bracket, has a not easy, but not a relatively difficult path to being in the quarterfinals, which is kind of crazy. I think Argentina has the easiest route, and I'm sure FIFA is happy about that. But I agree with you. I think Colombia beats Ghana and then beats Switzerland.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I can see this one being a 2-1 game. I think the Swiss are are a decent defensive team. I just think that Colombia has a little too much overall, and I see Colombia winning this game, presuming that they get by Ghana. Now let's just flip this for a moment. Ghana pulls the upset. They play Switzerland. Who would you like in that scenario?
I think I'd give it to Switzerland. I think out of the three teams, Colombia is the best, Switzerland second best, and Ghana the third. If Colombia, let's say they go to PKs and Ghana pulls off a miracle, then I think Switzerland is probably favored. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Switzerland would beat Ghana if they were to play one another. And then there's one more game in the round of 16 with two undetermined opponents. And that's because, of course, the games are in progress. And right now, Australia and Egypt are tied at 1-1. And then we have the game between Argentina and Cabo Verde. So I'm going to throw two scenarios at you. I'm going to presume that Argentina will beat Cabo Verde. And presuming that Argentina plays Australia, do you favor Argentina in that game?
Yeah, I think like I said, Argentina has a very simple compared to others path to the quarterfinals. I mean, they have to beat Cabo Verde, who is just happy to be there at this point. Anything is bonus. I'm cheering for them. I'll tell you that. I would love to see an upset here. But Argentina, you're in the round of 32, you're playing Cabo Verde. Then you get to the round of 16 and you have Australia or Egypt. And then you get to the quarters and it's going to be either Colombia, Switzerland, Ghana. Like they have the path. If any team has a direct path to a World Cup semifinal, it's the reigning champ.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Now, obviously, I'm picking, as I say, Argentina to win this, but let's presume that Argentina plays Egypt. Do you see a similar result? Do you see Argentina beating Egypt as well?
I do. I do. I am so hoping for upsets because I want someone new to win the World Cup. I can't see Argentina going out right now. Think about it. If Argentina gets through, this game quite easily. It looks like Australia and Egypt are probably going to go to extra time, which is exactly what you want, right? More fatigue, more injuries, more chance for cards, so on and so forth, suspensions, whatever the case is. It's lining up for Argentina just to get right to the final four. I think it's pretty straightforward. Argentina gets through round of 32, round of 16, and probably the quarterfinals. I don't want to see it. I'm just telling you what I think.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I think if Argentina plays either of these teams, I'm going to say 3-1 Argentina over either Egypt or Australia. So that's our rundown of the round of 16. And as I keep saying, Giuseppe, with less games, there's less prognostications, but the games are getting more intense and they're getting bigger as we go along. So, as we always say, and I'll say it as I said last time, these prognostications are for recreational purposes only. Don't haunt the furniture. Don't put a mortgage on your house. Giuseppe, thank you for stopping by. I'm hoping that you'll be able to stop by on Wednesday because on Wednesday we have something we haven't had in a long time. And that's a day off from soccer because the next round will start on Thursday. So hopefully you can come by on Wednesday. I hope you can make it. And I'll look forward to having you by in the future.
Awesome. Yeah. Hope everyone enjoys the World Cup. It's been a fantastic spectacle for the sport.
Yeah. And I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. And again, Giuseppe, best of luck tonight. I'll be watching and let's hope for 3 big points from the Cyclones.
Go Cyclones, go Canada. See you on
You got
Wednesday.
it. And as we always say, let the sports be with you.